What's up, everybody? And we are here with another episode of Coast to Coast. Whether you are on the East Coast, West Coast, or live in Brazil, like I am, welcome to the show. What's up, everybody? How you guys doing?
Good. How about you, man?
I am living the dream. I literally, less than 2 hours ago, I was in the air, uh, just flying down, looking above Rio de Janeiro, hand gliding. Not hang gliding, uh, I guess paragliding. The hang gliding wasn't as good today, so they said do the paragliding.
Hmm.
So paraglided down. Uh, it's amazing, like when you're going up real close to the cliffs and all this stuff. It was a lot of fun. It was a great time. Very exciting 5 minutes to say the least.
Did you go to the beach?
Yeah, did he leave?
You just popped up. I don't know if he meant to do that, but
Okay, I guess he's gone.
did you go,
So
did you go to the beach?
I did go to the beach. You didn't see me at the beach.
I did not.
Everybody else saw me on the
I did not
beach.
see you at the beach yet.
Oh, I guess you. Well, not today. I didn't go to the beach today, but I did. I did go to the beach the other day. If you go on my Instagram, you will see exactly how I did a beach run, which was a lot more impressive than people thought. They're like, "Damn, you can move." It's like, "Hey, yeah. Well, I guess when I want to, I'm ready to move." So, but it's been a great time here. Obviously, we're in Rio, so it's been a lot of fun. I'd show you guys the pool, but it messes up the camera. I had to use a new computer today because my computer decided to freeze up on me. So thank God I brought two computers. And and there's been a lot going on. I mean, not just with us being down here, obviously, but how about them Phillies coming back out of nowhere yesterday? It was at 1.6 to 1, and they came back to win 10-9.
Yeah, I think it was a win they had to have too, don't you?
Are you frozen, stat guy? Because
No, I'm
I
good.
was gonna say you look kind of funny in that frozen picture. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the one that's got the. What time is it in Rio? I have to actually check my phone because my computer doesn't want to work this way. 104 at the moment. But but yeah, the Phillies had a great comeback yesterday. It was amazing, and we're all getting ready for an Eagles game. As this morning, as I was getting ready to go paragliding, uh, Baldy showed up. So Baldy is in the building right now.
Right
Uh,
on.
Why isn't he
I was
down
going
there
to
with
see if
you?
he was going to walk by. Maybe why is he down here? He's
No,
down
I
here
said
with
why isn't
us.
he
He
on
comes with our
camera with
group.
you? He should be doing the show with you if he's in the building with you.
I, I would love for him to do so. I didn't get that ability to make that happen. He's not right here with me at the moment, but if he passes by, we will absolutely have him on.
Hell
Yeah, there
yeah.
is no posting on Twitter. I cannot go live on Twitter right now. That is against the law here, just so that you're aware.
Is it really?
Brazil's got some funny rules. Right now, Twitter is banned throughout the country. If you get caught
Interesting.
using it, you get an 8,900 reais fine, which comes out to about $1,500.
Jesus Christ.
Wow. They're not messing around.
Did they say? Did they say
Right.
why? Did they say why it's banned or no?
So what's happening right now with Twitter is they're having a hard time. Like Twitter doesn't have an office here in Brazil, and I think they want them to have an office here direct.
Hmm.
And because of that, they decided to ban them. And
Hmm.
in the process of that, they also froze his um, the assets to Skylink.
Oh,
Okay.
So,
interesting.
which is his other business, because that's how everybody gets Wi-Fi in the Amazon is through Skylink.
Okay.
So they froze all the assets to that as well, which is kind of interesting. But I mean, I'll be honest. I think people are still using X. I mean,
Oh,
you
I'm
can still
sure.
get on. I mean, the NFL is probably going to be excused. So because X is such a big part of broadcasting now
Yeah.
with the NFL
Yeah.
that I suspect they will be able to use X without any issues or problems, or out any fines. You know what I mean? Or maybe just pay the one fine. So, yes, they say you can use it with a VPN, all that stuff. I mean, you're able to get on to, like I said, I can get on to X right now if I wanted to. I'm not doing it. I'm just listening to the law. The fires in Brazil. There are some fires. Obviously, initially it was a control burn that got a little bit away from them because they're having a severe drought here as well.
Hmm.
And but
It's a good time for a controlled burn.
well, but what occurred was like I said, it started to get away from them a little bit. But 2 years ago, there was a haze that came over Philadelphia, and that smoke was coming from Canada. The
Mhm.
air quality was 400 particulates per million. Right now in Sao Paulo, it's 150 particulates per million. So
Wow,
it's
that's
less
thick.
than no, it's actually less thick than what it was in Philly 2 years ago.
Oh, I gotcha.
So it's not too bad. They just had a big soccer game actually over that way. Um, no issues or problems whatsoever. So this game's going on, and we're all going to be there. We're all wearing green. Everybody has this big fear of us wearing green anywhere. The whole green thing is a farce. Just to
Yeah.
let everybody know, the national color of Brazil is green. So
Yes.
there is no green gangs. The green gangs are the soccer teams. So when the soccer team is playing at home, the Corinthians are playing at home, they ask that there is no green that comes into the building because ultimately it's going to create a brawl because they have
Mm.
guys with guns in between the two factions because soccer matches mean everything here. It would be like
Yes.
a cowboy fan going up into the 700 level of the old vet and thinking that he's going to be just fine, wearing all of his clothes. That's not going to
Yeah.
be the case. So that being said, they are not allowing any soccer uniforms, any soccer jerseys allowed
Oh,
into
okay.
the stadium. That's what they have banned.
Interesting.
No soccer uniforms are going to be allowed into the stadium. So if you wear a Corinthians jersey, you are not going to be allowed into the stadium. As funny as that sounds,
Crazy.
even though it's their home stadium, they just don't want somebody who's a Corinthians fan starting the trouble of everything. I
Yeah, I
guess
mean that makes
saying,
sense.
"Oh, these
That
green."
makes sense.
It's all. I mean, everybody's got these different rules. I think everything's just going to be fine. I don't suspect it's going to be a big deal. The ticket prices have plummeted. They went from like $2,000 to now like you can get into the building right now for like under $100.
Hmm.
So so it's been exciting. It's been a lot of fun. And obviously, I went to go see JC on the mountain. That was a lot of fun. When you see a big statue up in the mountains.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
they have another place called Sugarloaf, which is another mountain where we had breakfast and overlooked all of Rio. And then today did the paragliding and made it.
I
And the other
mean
good thing
that
about
that's always
Brazil
the good
is that
part.
You made it. Yeah. You made it.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
surviving the trip is
and
always key.
very much so. Very much so. Still have my phone. Still got my wallet. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. So, and it's been a lot of fun. We've been getting a lot of coverage down here as well. So, it's been all good. All been good.
So how busy?
So what's
I
going
guess
on in
how
your
busy?
guys' world? I mean, I feel like I've been doing all the talking.
I mean, like for me, my Mariners have decided to mail the season in, so have that going for me. Now they're going to lose the series with the Angels, and then now they're going to lose the series against the A's. They bring up two pitchers rather than trying out some batters to see if they could help. So ultimately, it looks like the Mariners are giving up, but that works out because the NFL kicks off tomorrow.
That is correct. It starts off with the Chiefs and Ravens. And what are your thoughts on this game?
I'm looking forward to it. Like this should be there's some things that are going to be good to watch, right? Because KC has reloaded their offense a little bit and get rid of Tony. So they're for the most part the receiving core should be able to catch the ball. And then at the other end, you have the Ravens with some new pieces on defense. So it'll be interesting to see how those come together. And of course, they have Derrick Henry, and I'm really interested to see what he can do in that offense.
Do you think he'll be featured?
Not yet. Not yet. Coming off of the foot injury, I don't think he will be. I think it'll take probably 5-6 weeks maybe before he's a feature, just because everyone said running back his age, a running back that's been used as much as he's been used. Anytime you have a foot injury and have a metal plate put in your foot, it's pretty much kind of the end of the road of you being like basically top 4 running back. So I think they want to kind of see how he recovers first before they make him the feature of that offense.
I mean, at the same time, you have to respect the fact that Lamar can still run, right?
Yeah.
So that he's not going to have the crazy stacked box that he used to have, because Lamar can straight run away from you, and his ability to throw the ball has come along so much from when he entered the league. So the people that are like, oh, he's only a running back, that still have that thought, it's just the laziest take ever.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't watched him throw the ball the last few years.
Yeah, but his legs are what really does it.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is when you look at his stats as far as throwing the ball, like he's as good as anybody else at this point. It's not like when he came into the league where you're just like, man, he better rely on those legs. I mean, he's efficient. He doesn't turn the ball over a ton. I mean, so you have to respect the fact that he can complete a pass, and then he still has his legs. You add a monster like Derrick Henry in there, there's a lot you have to account for.
Yeah. And then you have a healthy Mark Andrews coming back too, who missed how many games last year?
Yeah, exactly. No, like it's going to be a battle. That's an awesome kickoff of the season game.
Well, yeah, of course it's it's the rematch of the AFC Championship game too, right?
Yep.
Isn't that they played in the AFC
Yep.
Championship?
Yep.
So, I mean, do you have an opinion on who you think is going to take it?
I'm going to go with the Ravens here, and only because it's week 1, and offensive lines always look terrible week 1, and they will be able to control the game a little bit on the ground, in theory.
Well, I'm a firm believer, and this doesn't happen all the time, but it seems like most of the time, anytime that there's a ceremony for a game, the team that has that ceremony loses. I just feel like that they're going to be getting their rings, and they're going to be sniffing themselves a little bit with those rings. And I think the Ravens come in and just manhandle them. Kind of similar like the way it happened last year, right? Kansas City
With
got
the Lions?
smoked out of their building. Yeah. In week 1. So I kind of think it's very similar. I think the Ravens had this game circled right away, that they wanted to be able to just get back at them. Obviously they can't win the AFC Championship with this game, but they're going to play like they can.
Mm-hmm.
No question.
I think the biggest key is going to be the defensive side of Baltimore, knowing that they have a new defensive coordinator. and just kind of seeing how that new defensive coordinator scheme as opposed to the one that took over the Seahawks head coaching job, and just kind of see if it's a similar scheme or a new scheme put in place, because they did lose a lot of players on defense. Granted, they brought in some players too.
Exactly.
They lose a lot from last year. How much is that going to make a difference? And now that you have Mahomes, Rashee Rice, Kelsey, you brought back Juju Smith-Schuster, who knows that offense. You have McCole Hardman back in that system, and after playing with the Jets for 8 or 9 games last year and then getting basically picked up off the street, Hardman looked like he didn't miss a beat in that offense last year. So now you have Kansas City's offense that's going to be more diverse and better than what they were last year. I think Kansas City gets the win this year because I don't think they want to have 2 straight basically first game letdowns where you're letting the visiting team come into your own building and beat you on opening night.
Yeah, I don't think it matters that much. And if the fact that you put JJ Schuster Smith in that, he's going to be a difference maker, I just laugh at that. I feel like that's ridiculous.
He can catch. He can catch, and that's the thing. Like that's the thing that ultimately slowed the Chiefs down last year was they had so many dropped passes. But now,
I mean, that was the thing. Soon as they signed him, you knew that Tony was gone.
Yeah,
because he can't catch the ball. I mean, if you have Kadarius Toney,
and McCole Hardman can do just what Tony does.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Well, do you have a score prediction?
23-20, Kansas City.
It's low scoring.
That is. I think it's going to be more than that. I'll go 27-24. Yeah, I'll go 27-24, only because I do think there's going to be a lot of running game in this.
I got it like 38-27.
Okay. All right.
On a missed extra point, and I got the Ravens winning it. I think that they go away. I think that the Ravens, I am going to account for the fact that their defense is not what it was last year. I'm also going to take into account that, like I said, I think that entire offense is going to take a minute to get themselves together, where I kind of feel that the Ravens, interestingly enough, they lost every preseason game this year. So it's kind of
true,
different than what they're normally doing. So, but I think that they are able to pull it all together and they go and just manhandle the Chiefs for week 1.
I think similar to what we were talking about with like Derrick Henry possibly being the X factor for the Ravens, depending on how much he's featured. I think Xavier Worthy is the X factor for the Chiefs too, because Baltimore doesn't have anybody in their secondary that can keep up with him one-on-one. So now what is Baltimore going to do to defend him, where if you got to put 2 guys or a single high safety on Worthy, now you're opening up the middle of the field for Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce to pretty much just eat you up alive all day.
Yep.
So even if Worthy doesn't have a single reception in this game, just his speed alone and that threat of just taking the top off of the defense is going to change how a lot of teams defend that Kansas City offense, because you cannot let him get behind you.
Yeah, when I think it sounds like Dustin has KC winning here.
I do. I have KC winning 23-20.
There you go.
Yeah, so no, when we do not all have the Ravens winning. Which means that we'll be right this time, because when everybody picks one team, usually the other team will win.
Oh, yeah, that jinxes that team immediately.
Exactly. Which then brings us to the first Friday game in a really long time. The NFL back in the day used to have a lot of Friday games, and they stopped having Friday games when Congress actually stated that they were no longer allowed to. So it was Congress that actually put in the act that they were not allowed to have games on Friday. They had to have them more on specific days, because they felt that by having games on Friday night, it was actually taking away from the high schools, high school football, that college football, and they thought it would be more of a detriment So they enacted a law. Actually, it was a law that was placed on the books for a long time, and that's
Hmm.
why, like in 1956, they stopped because they used to have games every day of the week. They used to have them on Wednesdays and
Mhm.
Thursdays. At one point, I went and did a research of the Eagles and their record on certain days of the week. Uh, and interestingly enough, Friday they were like 8-1 on Fridays when they
Hmm.
played. So we're looking to have them 9-1 now, I think. But it's going to be an interesting game. We did see some Packers fans up at you know JC on the Mountain. Christ the Redeemer, just in case anybody is getting upset about the fact that I'm being a little funny about it. Um,
Yep.
but I think it's I think it's going to be a good 70-30 Eagles fans to Packer fans. I mean, I've seen
Think
about
so?
10
You think
Eagles
it? You think
fans.
it's that? You think it's that lopsided?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, I feel like it's that lopsided. And I also feel like when people ask me, I think it's going to be 50% Eagles fans in the stadium. I think it's going to be about 25% um, Packers fans. I think it's going to be about 10% Brazil fans, just people from Brazil. And then there's
Hmm.
going to be 15% of the stadium open. I
Oh,
think
you don't
that
think it's
because
sold out?
no, I don't think so at all. And the reason being
Wow.
is that they gouged the prices so much. They're
Hmm.
compensating so severely now that there's going to be people that buy tickets, but it's this isn't like a regular home game. You know what I mean? Where people are going to walk up and buy tickets.
True.
Brazil also is. Did I hear that also Friday night Brazil is actually in a qualifier match versus somebody
Mhm.
for the World Cup?
Hmm.
So if I'm in Brazil, if I'm in Brazil in a place that's not Sao Paulo, you know what I mean, and not into American football, I'm probably going to be watching my national
Soccer.
team try to
Sure.
get into the World Cup because from what I hear that if they lose that game, if they lose this game, it's a big deal. I don't know who they're playing against, and I'm not sure if it's if it's a win and stay in or lose and go home type situation.
They
But
play
Hmm.
they
that's how it
play,
was kind of presented to me.
they play Ecuador on Friday, and then they play Paraguay on Tuesday.
Okay.
Did they lose the first game by chance?
Let me see. They tied Colombia. Oh, that was Copa. Um, this is actually their first World Cup qualifying game because they just got done with the
Okay.
They just got done with the Copa America that they had going on in June, and then they had a couple international friendlies back in July. So this will be the first of their two World Cup qualifying games, and then they'll have like 2 months off before they get into the other ones.
Yeah, and I'll be. Yeah, when you just said they play Paraguay and Ecuador,
Yeah, Ecuador Friday, Paraguay Tuesday.
yeah, I have no doubt in my mind that they're going to be just fine.
Yeah,
You know, Brazil is always usually
neither one of those teams,
a
neither one of those teams is
powerhouse,
great. Yeah, neither one of those teams is great.
right?
Yeah.
So I fully expect that there's going to be Brazil in the World Cup. But that being said, the fact that it's happening on the same exact timetable, it's probably happening a little bit earlier because the game is starting here at 9:15, which is 8:15 Eastern Standard Time, and you know 5:15 in Seattle time. So I mean, it's a weird time here. Obviously, it's starting very late,
I'm
but
surprised they didn't just start
probably
at 7
because
o'clock.
well, that's what I would have thought that it would
Then
have
it would
been
have
like
been
a
6 o'clock. It would have been 6 o'clock East Coast, 5 o'clock Central, and then 4 o'clock
now
West Coast.
they want to they want to be able to have the whole country be able to watch. So, and the fact that it's like 5 o'clock on a Friday is probably more prime time than anything else um, for the West Coast. Not that I think that the West Coast is really going to watch, But I'd be willing to bet that there's 25 to 30 million people that are watching everybody in Brazil
Yeah.
because they want to see what happens. They want to see if anybody's wearing green. They want to see is so what it is. It's only Gale here, Paul. Yeah, it's only Gale that and Gale's been hanging with us. We've been doing a lot of different content together. He didn't go paragliding today, so uh, but anyways, like I said, there is a game that's going to be happening here, and of course, we got some great news today that our middle linebacker from Tampa Bay is not going to make the flight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's hurt, I guess, or something. I read that.
Hmm.
I was like, oh, okay, this is just what we need. And somebody to start off the season right with an injury. So it's going to be relying more on Kobe Dean probably in the center of that defense to call everything and get everything moving. So
I mean, I think you guys will be fine.
Yeah.
I think your roster is enough better that even if you lose a couple of guys, it'll ultimately work out.
I think so. At least
I forgot how
I'm pretty
weird.
sure.
I forgot how weird looking at the comments on your phone is.
Yeah, the comments are, well, especially on the phone. I don't even bother looking at it on the phone. I have to wait for you to kind of load it up.
I got you.
But there you go. And I don't even know that Trott's going to be playing on defense. I think that he's going to be solely a special teams guy, at least for game one. Dean is going to have to step up. It's going to have to be a big deal with Dean. Um, and I expect that he will actually. You know what? I haven't seen her. There is no Samba girl server that's around me. It's usually men. Usually, men servers around here. Go bird. So I appreciate it, Nick. Thank you very much. Just in case you guys were unsure, he was just calling you. Yeah, like I said, it's been amazing. This is what a week I'm having. At first I get tweeted that I'm going to be running for governor. And
Yeah,
then it's like
I was cracking up about that.
I did say that it like 12 years I would run, and then they says, well, he's going to run for the next governor, and I'm like, and then the funnier part about that was that Ed Rendell also like weighed in and says, yeah, he's going to get some votes. So I mean, who knows? Who knows? It might happen sooner than I was expecting. But yeah, so but then to go running into the ocean, that was a big deal. Doing an Eagles chants up at Christ the Redeemer was
Mhm.
amazing. So it's been a whirlwind week, and then of course paragliding today. So it's
Yep.
if you want to say living your best life, that's kind of what I'm doing at the moment. And that's just the beginning because on Friday we're going to be at a football game. So,
That's right.
and I've told everybody who's going to be watching. Every time you see me, take a shot. Let's see how many. Let's see how many shots that everybody's going to do. I'm hoping everybody's drunk by the second quarter. That's right. Go Birds. As you can see, everybody's here. We have 200 people in our group. And like I said, Baldy's the guy who's going to be here with us as well. Um, and it's we're just getting warmed up. So,
Hell yeah.
but when it comes to the game, I think the Eagles are going to win this game. They just loaded the
Mhm.
plane about an hour ago.
Okay, they're not there yet.
They are not there yet. They're not here yet.
Hmm.
They said they loaded the plane an hour ago. So they wanted to fly in. It's going to be. They probably have a faster plane than we do. You know, I
Sure.
think it's going to probably be like 10, 11 hours for them, which will bring them here, I guess, somewhere around 9, 10 o'clock at night. They'll get settled.
Hmm.
They'll get in the room and go right to bed. They'll do walkthroughs on Thursday, and uh, Friday is just an awkward time for everybody.
Yeah.
So, like the 9 o'clock at night game is a weirdo time. So,
Yeah.
I kind of think that it's going to be interesting to say the least. This is going to be a game of who handles this travel better.
Do you know? Do you know if
I
Green
did
Bay is
not
there
hear much
yet?
of the Packers.
Oh,
I
okay.
do not know.
I think
As
they.
I say, I don't know
Green.
anything about the Packers.
I think Green Bay left yesterday.
Oh, okay.
So they got an extra day because it's not anything about there's no delay in terms of time. Actually, you're moving ahead an hour, so it's not like that's a
Yeah,
big deal. I mean,
you won't have jet lag like going to Europe, but what you might have is fatigue from being on an airplane for so long.
right.
Yeah.
And there we go. And I kind of look at it as, I mean, let's face it, there's probably only going to be about 80 people on the plane.
Yeah.
And this is probably not your everyday plane. It's probably got a lot of first class or a lot
Well,
of business class.
the thing with Green Bay though too is they have to actually get a connecting flight. Philadelphia doesn't, because Green Bay's airport is not big enough to have a plane that can go directly from Green Bay to Brazil.
Well, that makes sense that
Yeah,
they
they
would leave a
stopped in
day earlier.
Miami.
So yeah, I think they had to leave. I think they flew out of Green Bay to wherever their connecting flight was yesterday, and then they took their connecting flight, and I think they got into Brazil. If the news was right this morning, I think they said they got into Brazil at about 2 a.m., maybe 3 a.m. this morning down in Brazil.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, well. Uh, so it's not going to be hot. So it's winter time down here.
Exactly.
The game is supposed to be 60 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be perfect football weather in a real sense. Not very windy. I mean, there's not a lot of wind that happens around here. I mean, in Rio there is because obviously, but it's more inland, so it's not going to have the wind like in other stadiums and such.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, what are your thoughts on the game,
I think it's going to be a
stat
fun
guy?
game.
I think both of these games are going to be very fun games. So I think all these Baltimore, Kansas City, Green Bay, Philadelphia, I think both have the potential to be playoff matches later in the year, depending on how things shake out in each division. Obviously, teams are going to look a lot different week one to the playoffs, anyways. But this is like the first time where you can make a case that all five major primetime games, so counting the Sunday night game, and then obviously Monday night with the 49ers and Jets, where all four games have a chance to be actually really good games.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely.
I
It's
agree.
this should be good because then we'll kind of get to see if Green Bay is coming into this building off of how they ended their season, or if they're going to look very similar to how they started the season. And it makes me think of teams like the Jags or even the Bengals, where they start off slow and then get better. It'll be interesting to see if Green Bay follows that mold or if they really are just taking off from where they finished.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it actually starts spring when we switch to fall. So the equinox actually it will switch them into spring.
Yep. Yeah, because they're in the southern hemisphere.
Yeah. Everything is flipped.
Exactly. It's so funny when you look at the toilet; it goes backwards. That's actually not a thing.
Yeah.
But So I think that the Eagles are going to. I I don't trust that Green Bay is going to come out of the box like they ended the season last year. I think that they're going to have a little bit more of a tough time. I think that the Eagles, it's going to be a rust bucket. This is all going to be a rust
Mhm.
bucket. Um, this is going to look like a preseason game. I think it's going to come down to turnovers is going to be a key part of this.
Yep.
I think both teams are going to have them. I think both teams are going to have multiple. I think it's going to be 4 turnovers for Green Bay and to 2 of the Eagles.
Oh,
All of those
you're looking
turnovers
for
are going
some
to end up.
you're looking for some sloppy football.
I think so. I for so many different reasons. I mean, Green Bay didn't. I mean, I think Jordan Love did play some snaps in the preseason. Obviously, the Eagles starters did not play any
Yeah.
snaps. Um, I kind of think that it's just going to be a slop fest. I think this is going to be a preseason game, and I think it's going to come down to who could be the least sloppy
Mhm.
of the two.
And like the
And
Ravens,
I
too.
hope it's going to be the Eagles.
Yeah, and like the Ravens too. The Packers have a new defensive coordinator this year too, who is coming actually from Boston College. So I kind of want to see like how you go from being a college defensive coordinator for the last 10, 12 years, and now you're going right from that to the NFL side of things, how he's going to call the game, and just kind of see how that personnel works with him.
I'm glad
Yeah.
you mentioned Boston College because I'm going to just take a quick little segue on that. That I hope that anybody that was watching the other day or on Sunday took my advice and bet Boston College. Did I not mention it on this show that I would take Boston
Yep.
College with the points and then I would also put a flyer on the money line because I thought they were going to win that game outright. That when a good team loses a bad game or loses a game they should not lose, they usually lose the next week. And this is a trend. This is a big trend. So I would also now going looking forward, I would bet the house on Florida State again now this week because this is their turnaround week. They're going to all of a
Mhm.
sudden look like they're the 10th ranked team instead of going from 10th to out of the, you know, just completely out. They're like done.
Yeah.
But anybody should have made you could have made a lot of money. Could have made a lot of money on me. I was saying that,
You know, it's funny too because if they were to run the table, they'd still probably make the playoffs this year.
yes, they would, because they'll win their division. That
Yeah.
will guarantee them. So losing these 2 games aren't isn't going to mean as much. I mean, Boston
If
College
they lose
comes
a
out the gate
third,
bad loss.
if
Yes.
they lose a
Well,
third, then it becomes questionable.
Yeah. And I
if they
mean,
lose a
they have off this week too, so now they have an extra week where they can kind of sit and ponder like how they're going to come out next week.
Yeah, I think that makes it even bigger. That makes it an even bigger difference that they're going to roll the next appointment. Whoever they're playing next.
I mean, they better hope so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
but
play Memphis.
see that would be a flyer that I would take right now. I would also bet like a small amount of money on Florida State making the playoffs. I think that might be a good bet because right now those odds got to be high, skyrocket high. They started
Oh,
off
for
0 and
sure.
2. So I'd be willing to bet that might be a really good bet to make right now. Uh, Maybe not as good as the bet that I said with Boston College, because hey, listen, I'm just making people money out here. That's all I'm doing. Because if you followed my advice, I would have told you we were winning.
Hmm.
And there you
Yeah,
have it.
they get Memphis this week, then they get California, and then they get Clemson, Miami, and North Carolina 3 straight games after that.
Clemson is the
Miami,
first game of that 3.
yep, and then
Miami's going to be the tough one.
it's at Clemson, it's at Miami, and then they
Ooh.
get North Carolina coming to Florida State.
Yeah, but Clemson's also in that boat that they just lost they lost a big one
They lost
to
to Georgia.
Georgia.
They lost to Georgia though. I'll put my money on Clemson turning it around. First, I'll put it on Florida State turning it around.
Well, we'll see. We will see. I think that you give Florida State now 2 weeks to get ready for Clemson. They may blow them out of the water. But back to real football, and not that college isn't real. It's just not real enough. I think that the Eagles are going to win this game on Friday. I have it. I mean, it's going to be a mess. I think that there's going to be a defensive touchdown in the mix here, too. I got it 31-26.
I have it.
All right.
I have it 27-17 Philly.
Yeah, that's actually about where I was. I was 27-20. I thought it was going to be the difference of a touchdown.
Might even be a little closer, but like I said, I think this is going to be a slop fest, and I think that there's going to be a defensive touchdown, maybe a defensive touchdown on both sides, and we'll have to figure it out from there. It's going to be interesting to say to say the least.
Yeah. And Jasek, if you look on our YouTube channel, actually interviewed one of the coaches for the Milano Seaman, Jim Ward. So you might enjoy that since you're talking about the ELF.
This one you're talking about, I assume.
Yes. Yeah. So he's talking about the European League. And so a few weeks ago, we talked to Jim Ward of the Milano Seamen. And then, of course, 2 weeks ago, we talked to Martin Schmidt, who is part of the GLF, the German League Football. So.
Did you guys see that? Did you guys see that video I sent you in our group text about the White Sox continuing to make history?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
So first team in history
where they all ran into each other.
Yep, first team in history now to have 3 12-game losing streaks in the same season, and they turned a routine pop fly into a bases clearing double last night.
Oh, that was last night?
Yep.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I'll watch that tonight.
Third baseman and left fielder ran into each other in a routine pop fly and 3-run score.
I mean, man.
That's because the shortstop should have been the one that called the ball anyways, because he had the best beat on it, and then saw what was about to happen and then pulled out. Literally just like
no, thank you.
Going and then turned away. He's like, I'm not going to get in the middle of this collision because that's what's about to happen.
The shortstop was calling for it, and the third baseman and left fielder keep running, and all of a sudden you see the shortstop kind of like stop and just start going the other way. He's like, nope, no, thank you.
See, it would have been better if all 3 of them got there and they just banana peel. Like, that'd have been amazing.
It might have been inside the park.
Probably. All
3 are down. It's like, all right, who's going to come get the ball? The pitcher? The pitcher ain't running nowhere.
The White Sox starter threw 83 pitches in 2 innings.
In 2 innings? That is amazing.
He had like 7 walks in 2 innings. He faced 8 batters in the second inning, walked 5, and then gave up a double, and then the blue top up.
What was the score of that game?
It was 9-0 after the 5th inning, and that's what it ended up.
Wow.
So the bullpen came in and did a great job.
I think Baltimore also took the foot off the gas, too, just because it was like, well, we won 13-3 yesterday. We're up 9-0 today. We'll just come back out tomorrow and hang a 7th spot in the first inning.
No way. Are you kidding? You want to try and bump up that run differential. You just sit there and just
that pitcher was so bad yesterday.
That is amazing. So how many of those guys do you think are not on this roster, but just on a roster period next year?
Honestly, I think they have 4 or 5 guys that still will be. Because you have Andrew Benintendi. You have Andrew Benintendi, who's historically been a pretty solid hitter. He's having the worst year of his career this year. But I think a lot of that just has to do with just the vibe in the clubhouse. And he's kind of now at 33 going on 34. And he's probably like, I don't give a fuck. I just want to get out of here. And he's actually been
in the MVP talk
2 years ago,
last year. Yeah, 2
2
years
years
ago.
ago. Yeah. And the last 30 games, Andrew Benintendi's like in the top, I think the top 5 or 6 in batting average in all of Major League Baseball. So he's still hitting the ball well. You have Luis Robert Jr., who he's going to be on a roster somewhere. Whether it's in the Chicago or whether the White Sox trade him away for pieces, he's going to be on a roster somewhere. Garrett Crochet is going to be on a roster somewhere. And then you still have Andrew Vaughn's decent enough to be even if it's a bench player, he's decent enough to be on a roster somewhere. And Miguel Rojas, who was the one that collided with Andrew Benintendi, he's always been a very solid role player no matter where he's gone. So the White Sox do have pieces on this team. I think it's just more of all these players are veterans who've been in the league now for 5, 6 to 10 years, and they're just sick and tired of the situation they're in right now, where they're just trying to be like, let's just get the season over with and just move on. Like, I don't want to be here. You don't want to be here. The fans don't want to be here. 17 people don't even want to be here that show up one day.
So then why wouldn't they just go, ow, oh, ow, ow, ow?
Well, I'm
ow,
surprised. I'm surprised
ow.
they even let. I'm surprised they let Rojas stay in the game last night, because when he collided with Benintendi, it was Benintendi's elbow like just hit him square right in the eye, and like he was like on the ground for like 2-3 minutes, and all of a sudden when they finally got him up, his eye was like swollen shut, and he couldn't even open it. I'm like, why are you even leaving him in the game? Like, just take him out.
And if you were him, you'd be like, you know what? I've put out enough bad tape this year. Let's just wrap it up. There's only 20 games left anyway. Just call it a day.
Yeah, that whole organization is just a complete shit show right now.
I mean, I'm here for it.
That's what makes me right, but that's what makes me say, you know what Castellanos was talking about the other day. Yeah. Where owners should be forced, if you have like, and it should be something of a severe nature. Like if you have, what do you call it, 5 years of sub 500 baseball, or would you have to do more than that, like 7 years?
I'd be fine with 5 years, because I'd be fine with 5 years because I'm not going to say the Orioles tanked just because the Orioles they had contracts that expired and they just kind of like traded them away. Look at the Miami Marlins, for example. Miami Marlins won the World Series in '97. They come back and win the World Series in 2003. In 97 was a little bit different because a lot of those players were kind of getting older, and you knew they were kind of looking for that one last contract before they would retire. But that 2003 Miami Marlins roster was all guys like 27 years old or younger. Instead of re-signing these people, 1 year later they traded every single one of those players because they knew they weren't going to be able to afford them down the road. That's when I think owners should be punished, because it's like, your team is literally all 24, 25-year-olds. Like, why are you completely blowing this thing up already?
Yeah.
That was the Dontrell Willis year, right?
Yeah, Dontrell Willis, Josh Beckett. They had Derek Lee. They had Miguel Cabrera as a 20-year-old back then. They had Mike Lowell, who was like 28, 29 back then. Brad Penny, Carl Pavano.
I mean, I remember them being a good team. I mean, I know Wayne Huizenga bought the first World Series.
Yeah.
Like, literally just straight out bought it. You know, it was like, I'm bringing everybody in. We're trading. We're going to get all these big pieces. And after that, it was just like, okay, you know, now I'm going to let everybody go back to doing what they were doing before.
Yeah.
That's how Darren
I'm so glad. I'm so glad I'm doing this on my phone. I just watched my router turn red and my laptop just give up the ghost. I was like, oh, okay, well, I mean, you know, if there was ever a day for you to be running the show, this is it.
Perfect. So, well, pretty soon you'll be in a new spot anyways. So,
yes.
It's as you're moving into new and better digs, we think.
Well, the biggest thing going there, where I'm headed, is I'll be able to put in all of my commercial Wi-Fi equipment, and so that'll certainly be better than the factory Comcast junk box that they give you. So then it'll be more
All
on
right.
if
Well,
the
good.
cable is good.
But it still be Comcast's fault if it's not.
No question.
Understood. I get it. So, all right. So we got 5 minutes left of this show. What do you guys want to talk about? Because, like I said, I'm in like vacay mode. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm ready to go jump in the pool and maybe get some of this off.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, I did it in the ocean. Yeah, I jumped in the ocean. Actually, I have to go do a few commercials and stuff like that. These are the times where I got to start to get
Oh
this
yeah,
stuff all
so
worked out.
tell us about the show you got right after this. You might as well plug that.
Yeah. Was it me that froze up?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. So you should tell us about the show that you're doing just after this. You should plug that one.
So I don't know when it's coming out. I don't know if it's going to be recorded or not, but I am doing a
Oh,
show with the Fusco show, and it's literally I'm just going to be on there for a few minutes, I think, but it's literally where's he at? Tell you the Paulie and Tony Fusco show. If you are not a follower of them, go give them a quick look and see what's up with them. I'm going to find out what's up with them here in a few minutes. So, literally, as I leave this one, I go to the next one. And then after I'm done that podcast, I do my commercials. And then after that, we go do our party to leave Rio.
nice.
Be like, yeah, we're going. See ya. Because on Thursday, we head over to Sao Paulo via plane. And then, go to our resort there and wait for the game on Friday, which is going to be
Hell
an
yeah.
interesting look. There's going to be a new look on Friday. So I'm going to do my podcast. And then right after that podcast, I'm going to be going live. We're going to be doing this. And then right after that, I'm going to be going live where somebody else is going to be painting my face.
Really?
Oh yeah. Okay.
A renowned artist. So we're not exactly sure what's going to happen, but yeah, there's first time for everything. So it should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. What do you guys got going on? So tomorrow, no show. By the way, no show tomorrow. We're just going to do a rerun tomorrow. Just
Yep.
because
Did you hear that, McLovin? Tomorrow we don't have a show. So
He doesn't watch our show.
So you don't need to be texting asking if there's a show tomorrow.
Yeah.
he's going to ask anyways.
100% he's going to, which is funny because it's a Thursday and he wouldn't normally be on anyway. But but yeah, no, for me, obviously, as you can see behind me, the office is cleared out, so it's going to be breaking the rest of the stuff down. Hopefully I'll have everything back up and running tomorrow. But just in case I don't, Friday is definitely the day. Yeah.
I just have a playoff baseball game to go to tonight.
Nice.
All right.
Got the Chicago Dogs versus the Cleburne Railroaders.
That sounds exciting.
Okay.
So
Independent leagues, but still.
All good.
It's okay when you can bug me. It's fine.
But all right, guys. Well, I'm going to end it now then, since we're just going to putz along for the next couple.
Oh. Lost them all together.
His computer.
But yeah. That being said, if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. If you're watching on Roku, stay tuned for the next hour. Jasek, you can see my YouTube handle right there on the screen. That is where the interviews would be with the GLF and ELF coaches. And yeah. All right. So other than that, I'm going to get up out of here. enjoy the rest of your day, man. Hopefully he comes back, or it'll end the stream one way or the other. But I got to get back to loading up the car, and yeah, I am going to still try and have my Pick'em show. It's really just going to come down to if I get everything into the new space and everything gets set up. I have to call Comcast and get them to change locations and all of that. So I have a dumpster fire that is the rest of my day, but the hope is to be up and running for Pick'em and the rest of the shows for tomorrow. But as far as me being on shows today, this is the only one I'm going to be on. The rest of them will still be on as planned. I just won't be part of them as I continue this moving process, which always is zero fun. So other than that,
what time is your Pick'em show?
So it is.
There we go.
The Pick'em show is 11. It's 11 a.m. Pacific time, so it'd be 1 p.m. Eastern.
So, guys, funny how my computer just crashed right then and there as getting off. So,
Comcast. We're going to blame it on Comcast.
Thank you for hanging out with us today, and we will see you guys tomorrow or Friday. So, everybody have a great day, and as always, go Birds. Let me see if I can get there. We go. We do have the outro. All right, guys. See you Friday.
Maybe.
Maybe.